what's going on, guys?
Hey, it's like deja vu.
Deja vu. Take two.
I feel like we just did this.
We did bloopers on the back end, guys. We're just letting you know.
Yeah. Yep. I totally screwed that up.
That's all right. Hey, episode 3, guys. Episode 3.
Yeah. Episode 3.
We're crafty veterans.
Grizzly
crafty veterans at the YouTube.
The YouTube veterans. Grizzly veterans.
And by the way, we have coffee in our cups today. Just to let you know, people were asking last time. It was coffee last time, coffee today. It's pretty good stuff.
That's right.
And I'm drinking it through a straw so I can get a caffeine boost pretty fast. So
I gotta ask, is it a plastic straw?
it is a plastic straw.
Oh,
it is.
Jeez. Okay.
But it's a cleaner. You can wash it and reuse it.
Oh,
right?
okay.
It's one of those.
All right. Good job.
Yes.
Good job.
For the environment.
We're saving the ocean life.
Ocean life. No more turtles getting hurt, man.
Yeah.
No more of that stuff.
Today I wanted to talk about something that you hit on your podcast.
Okay.
About how we're our own worst enemy, and it's so easy to cheer someone else on and to give someone else some great advice or positive thoughts, and we can't do that for ourselves. I mean, it's such a difficult thing to do.
It is. It was almost like a little project that I set out today on Coffee Talk to be able to talk to everybody about trying to have one word, even if it's just one example of a word that you can describe yourself in a positive fashion. So whatever that word is, you need to really lean in on that one word that's there. And what was funny was, I was telling John, we were discussing it, and I'm thinking to myself, a lot of people went through things like, I'm diligent, I'm focused, I'm energized, all this stuff, great words. It was awesome to see all the comments coming in. But it was funny how some people couldn't even bring one positive in there. They were very much like in the space of, I'm stubborn, or I'm emotional and I shouldn't be. And they started to critique themselves before they could talk about something positive.
Yeah, well, I mean, we are our own worst critic, our biggest critic, and it's a tough thing to do, to just sit back, look in the mirror, and look for the positives, because we focus so much on everything we don't do right, or we think we don't do right. So,
right.
And it affects us. It affects our attitude. It affects the way we treat ourselves. The way you might just tackle the day.
I know.
So starting the day off with like a positive affirmation, or just looking in the mirror and like saying, you know what, I got this today.
That's true.
I'm good enough.
I'm right. You're Stuart Smalley, man. Stuart Smalley.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you for getting my.
I'm good enough. I'm smart enough, and doggone it,
yeah,
people like me.
Yeah. Little Stuart Smalley.
I don't know how many times when I put stuff out there for Coffee Talk that many people will say to me, "Hey, Stuart Smalley, what's going on?" I'm like, "Hey, are you being facetious with that, or what are you doing with that?"
Ooh, facetious.
Whoa, big words, but it's the truth.
Hold on, let me look that up.
Was that air typing right there? Is that what you were doing?
That was air typing. That wasn't real typing.
But no, listen, it matters. Words matter, and things matter of the way that we handle ourselves, the way that we look at ourselves. And if you could do just one thing, right? One thing during the day, whether it's in the morning, it works for me in the morning. Like when I wake up, I know if I'm in a grumpy ass mood, man. I just know. I know if I'm getting up.
I bet Crystal knows.
She knows.
Oh, you know.
She literally has a cup of coffee sitting on the countertop going, drink that first before I have a conversation with you.
I bet.
Right? Because I'm like, I'll know it. But the funny thing is that I have to look in the mirror and I have to say to myself, what's my day going to be like today?
She hit you with, man, eat a Snickers, you're not yourself.
Right. That's exactly what it is. It's just like that commercial.
It's like, Shane, just here's the whole pot of coffee, man. You need the whole pot because you are one big jerk right now.
So we've been together my wife and I have been together almost 21 years. And ever since day one, it's always been that way with coffee. But since I've been doing all this stuff, this Coffee Talk and YouTube and No Finish Line Nation, it really gets you to reflect on things a lot more, right? Because before I would just go through life of going, oh, today just sucks, man. Whatever I'm gonna do, or I'd satisfy it with food and whatever else if I was depressed or down. And now I have this moment where I can think about stuff, and that matters. It matters for me anyway. It works for me. How about you? Anything like that work for you?
It definitely works. I think, I don't practice what I preach. That's, I don't think any of us do,
Right.
But, when I
try to.
When I do, whenever, like, I have to, I'll just be like, man, I'll talk myself through it. But it's hard to get there. It's just so easy to be like, man, I can't do this, or I'm not good enough, or I'm not enough. We always feel like we're not enough,
Right.
I had a conversation with my wife last night about that, and it's just that headspace. You gotta get out of that headspace.
It is. You can spiral so fast.
Yeah.
Because we are our own worst critic. You said it right in the beginning. we beat ourselves up so bad because we're not meeting the expectation of what we may have for ourselves or what people have told us we are all our lives.
Yeah.
You know, there's that end of it too. You got family members and whoever else that say you're not going to amount to nothing, you're going to whatever, or however it goes. You hear that all your life, you're going to start to believe that, and then you start to beat yourself up over everything you do.
Well, it's even if it's up here, you believe it. You know, I feel like, you know, just I believe in fake it till you make it too. I mean, even if you're not the, I mean, sometimes you gotta just look at yourself and be like, you're the greatest, you're the best, you can do this. I mean, obviously you're not the greatest, the best in the whole world. That I'm sure maybe you are the greatest and the best in the whole world at something. I know I'm not, but I'll tell myself I am just to get through whatever I gotta get through. Especially if it's if it's talking in front of if I have to speak in front of a crowd, or if I have to, you know, whatever it is. Sometimes I just gotta do that. I just gotta be like, man, you pat myself on the back for a minute.
Right.
Then my wife takes me right back down. She's like, you are not the greatest. You are not the best.
Settle down, pal. Settle down.
You did take out the garbage. You left dishes in the sink. You mix the laundry. You wash. Yeah. You did hot. You were supposed to do a cold. You ruined my pants.
Wait, are you seriously just heard the conversation my wife and I were just having just a little bit ago? Man, we get the same thing.
Yeah. So I'd love to see if you guys can in the comments something positive that you can say about yourself. So let us know what's something positive you guys can say about yourselves. It'll help you. It'll help us. You know.
Yeah. And here's the other thing I would say, outside of just the comments, because we'd love to see it, but write it down. Write it down and use it for later. Yeah. Use it for whenever you have one of those moments where you're sitting back going, oh man, it feels like everything's crashing down on me. Look at that word that you wrote down to describe yourself in a positive fashion and live there.
Well, I feel like anytime you put it out there, whether you write it down, whether you say it in front of someone else, once it's out there in the universe, you know, it's like it has to happen.
Yep.
You know, I remember you know, years ago, my wife, she didn't even know how to ride a bike.
Really?
No. I mean, I guess she kind of did. I don't know. And she decided...
Was she a wobbler? Was she like...
I don't know, man. I mean, she was probably needed training wheels as an adult. But she said, one day, she said out loud, we were at a meeting, and she said, I'm gonna do a 75-mile bike race to raise money for one of the many things. I don't know which.
The cancer or something like that.
Whatever it was, there's always something that she's raising money for or investing her time in to help out. And whatever that cause was, she said, I'm going to do 75 miles on a bike. Number one, she didn't own a bike.
Didn't own a bike or didn't know how to ride a bike.
Number two, she couldn't even ride a bike. So, but she said it. She put it out there.
Right.
And I was like, oh, okay, I guess this, you know, for the next few months, you're going to be...
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and she did it, and it's awesome. And she does that, and I kind of learned from her example, and I'm like, okay, so anytime I have something that I want to achieve, even if I feel like it's something I may not be able to achieve, I put it out there in the universe, man, and it just, you know...
It brings an extra level of accountability.
Yeah, so you put positive thoughts out there, too, and it does the same thing.
Oh, I love it. That's great, man.
Yeah.
Good job, Dominica.
Yeah.
Awesome job.
She doesn't watch us. She doesn't watch us.
Like you and your video cast.
Like, what are you two doing in the basement?
You close the door, there's a lot of noise. What the heck's going on down
She thinks it's like Breaking Bad down here. She doesn't know what's going on in the basement.
Oh, well, we got our masks. We got it all ready to go, man.
She's like, what are you guys doing down there? You guys cooking something up?
No, that's great, man. That's great conversation. So yeah, like John said, if you guys can in the comments, just list it out, man. Put it out there. Something positive about yourself that you can put. We'd love to see it anyway, but it's also good for you to be able to reflect on it. It's so good. That's pretty awesome stuff. All right, so let's get into a couple of the questions. This week we put it out on Facebook and we put it out on Instagram and all the other areas to be able to see if we can get you guys to send us a couple questions that you might want to hear. So I'm going to go over a couple things. One of them is going to be...
Because you guys, I know you guys are dying to ask us questions.
I know, man.
We're very exciting people.
Because you guys want to know exactly what we have to say. I don't know.
We did get a few questions.
We did. All right, so the first question that came in was... Talk about how the two of you met and the start of No Finish Line Nation. How did No Finish Line Nation start?
So it was a crowded room, and my eyes met this handsome gentleman's eyes, and I knew right there that we were gonna spend time together in my basement.
There was a twinkle?
In front of the camera.
It's good.
No,
not so much.
no. So Shane and I both met on we were both on our own weight loss journey.
Yep.
And there's not a lot of men who share
Nope.
their journeys, their weight loss journeys, what they're going through. There's not a lot of men. We were both going to Weight Watcher meetings.
Yep.
Shane was in Maine, and I was actually, you weren't even going to meetings.
No, I was online. Yep.
So I'm over here in Massachusetts, and Shane's in Maine, and we met on Connect, the social media network, through Weight Watchers. And like I said, there's not a lot of guys, so when you find another guy,
yep.
You kind of gravitate towards them because you're looking for, hey, look, I'm not alone out here.
Right.
And Shane and I hit it off. Right
off the bat, it was cool because I think we talked about it even in episode 1 of the video cast here. We talked a lot about how it's not macho, or it's not like you don't want to bury yourself back on some of the feelings that you might have about weight loss. And so what was great about it was that he and I, privately and out on the Connect piece, we were able to discuss things, and we were like, oh, it's okay to do that. And it felt like it was a kinship, and the bond grew from there because you found somebody that you can actually say something you're feeling and not worry about somebody going, what's wrong with you? Like, seriously, like dudes don't think that way. What are you doing? You know? So that's how it all kind of started. So
we met there, and from there we just kind of developed a friendship. Sharing on there. I think if that moved over to Facebook, maybe.
Yeah. After that,
Became Facebook friends. Hey, get Facebook friends.
Right.
There you go.
You're official when you're Facebook friends.
Kind of. Start talking about other things besides weight loss.
Right.
We although we did have things in common, we had other things in common as well.
Yeah.
And we had a chance to get together one weekend.
Yep.
At a big event. Shane's about an hour and 20 minutes away from, actually a little longer, where I used to live closer to the city, but about an hour and a half away, and we got together for a big event. It was like we always knew each other.
And I showed up and stayed in his basement.
Yeah, in my other house.
Yeah, I crashed right in the basement. Over. I got this thing for basements, man.
We had a big sleepover, and I remember, so we were in the middle of moving from our old house to this house, and my wife's like, first time we ever met in person, even though we talked.
Right. We never met in person. Yep.
We were internet friends.
Yep, that's what it was.
And Dominica, my wife, said, did you lock the door in case this guy wants to come up here and murder the whole family? And I was like, yeah, of course I did.
Click. You better believe it. Yep,
so,
absolutely.
Yeah. Did I miss anything?
No, that's
did we answer the question?
The second half of it was the No Finish Line Nation. How did that start? After you guys met, how did No Finish Line Nation start?
Yeah, you can answer that. Well, I can jump in when you start. When you start to screw up the answer.
Yeah, well, exactly. If I screw up the answer, he'll jump in. So, No Finish Line Nation all started because although we met each other and we had a great community that we were a part of, and we had some fun with that part of it, we needed something a little more, something with more interactive users, more interactive posts, more video posting. We needed something that could reach out to more, that we can really make bigger impacts, but also that friendships that we were forging all together, that we can really kind of push that forward. And we couldn't do it as much on the Connect platform that we were using.
Not only that, it's only open to the Weight Watchers community.
Right.
So No Finish Line Nation is open to anybody at all. I mean, you don't even have to be trying to lose weight. You don't have to be following a healthy, you could just be looking for some sort of support or wanting to give support or whatever it is. You just want to be surrounded by positive people.
Right.
So that was another thing.
And it's morphed into that a lot more. I mean, it was a vision at one time, but when we first started, of course, we started off, a lot of it was about weight loss and what you're eating and those kind of things, but it's grown so much now.
It's just one big community of people supporting one another, and like any community, sometimes sometimes people get on each other's nerves. Like, sometimes Shane drives me crazy, and sometimes I drive him crazy. I know that for sure.
He does.
But it's like one big family. It's cool. It's like we just get through it and we get over it and we learn from it. And for a community with so many people, it's amazing at how positive it is.
I couldn't agree more. That's the one bit of feedback I hear from everybody, is the fact that you have all these people in one group or one place, and you don't have more fights, more infighting, more politics, more anything. Well, there's work that goes into that sometimes,
Yeah.
right? I mean, we are behind the scenes kind of helping out to be able to make sure it's a safe place for you guys to come to, that you would feel safe to be able to open yourself up to some of the stuff that you brought to the table that you want to share and not be ridiculed. There's work that goes on behind the scenes to help that piece of it, and it really creates a good, safe environment, and we love it.
And that was the reason why we did it. It was, we just wanted to offer more, because our hands were kind of tied with what we were doing, and we felt like if we could take all the positives that we learned in the other communities we were in and form our own community, that we could police ourselves, keep safe,
Right.
make sure that there's a presence there, and that we had a vision, and so far so good.
So far so good.
So yeah, and it's just growing.
So thank you, Helene Padawer. Hopefully I said that right. That's the last name, but thank you for that question.
Awesome.
That's a good question.
Thank you.
Second question coming in from Angela Higgins. How do you get back on track after a bad day or a bad weekend?
Oh.
It's hard.
I'll tell you, so it changes, I think. I think it's different for everyone, and I think it changes.
Yep.
So how do you get back on track? I used to wait. So sometimes when I go off and do something and make a bad choice or a bad decision, I'd say, I blew it. I'll just start again on Monday.
Right. Hit the reset button.
It could be Tuesday of that week.
Right. Yep.
I'll start again on Monday.
On Monday.
You know what I mean? And sometimes that turns into 3 months later.
Yeah.
But I've learned, obviously, and you can start from one moment to the next. I mean, you can start. You make one. It's about balance. First of all, one bad decision is not going to ruin everything.
Yep.
You got to find that balance. But everyone starts at a different place and learns about that. You don't have to beat yourself up. So if you make a mistake, or if you do something and you feel like, oh man, I really blew it, you didn't really blow it. Just get back to business and, go back to the basics always. I mean, even if you might have been off track for a long time. Maybe it has been 3 months.
Yeah.
Get back to the basics. You know what you need to do, like we talked about last week on episode 2.
Open book test.
You have the answers there. You know what to do. Get back to the basics. What did you do to get you to where you were at? What works best? You know what it is.
Yeah.
Get back to the basics. For me, it's a couple of recipes that I get back to that always help me out. If I'm not meal prepping, I know I make big mistakes. So I make sure the fridge is stocked with great choices. I make sure I make those recipes. One big recipe is bird balls, man. If I have bird balls, it's like my reset meal.
Right.
I know it's a good choice. It's easy to grab. I can eat them cold. I can eat them hot.
Mm-hmm.
Put them in soup.
Everywhere.
I just had a flashback of Forrest Gump.
What?
Yeah.
Bird balls?
Bubble gum.
Oh,
sure.
Bird balls, soup, bird ball, gumbo, bird
Put
ball.
them in soup. You can put them on a flatbread. And you can put them in a sandwich. That's basically what I'm thinking. I sound like Bubble Gum.
You kind of did, but that's all right. It was great because you were listening to make it.
Yeah, so. What do you do to get back on track?
So for me, very similar. I got to outfit my house with stuff that's going to be able to get me back to on track. That, like I said last week, it was about the snacks. It was all about what I'm doing, but making healthy choices. But the other big thing we talked about in the beginning of this one was, in the morning, I've got to set myself off on the right foot. I know of last night, I had a night where I went out drinking or partying or whatever, and I'm waking up the next day, like you, very similar. It was always after the weekend's over, I'll go ahead and restart it. But I can restart as soon as I need to. And what I do is, for me personally, a lot of it has to do with the fact of me doing a podcast in the morning. When you guys hear me doing podcasts, a lot of times, although it's not every day,
they don't listen to you.
For me, well, if you do, no, I'm not going to plug it again, right? I'm not going to plug it again. So
plug it all you want.
Yeah. So
this is your YouTube
Coffee Talk. So for me, that helps me to get my mindset right, because what I do is I put, like you said, I put it out in the universe, whatever I'm feeling at that moment in time. If I'm struggling, I know I ate like crap, and I'm going, hey, you know what, I got to get focused. I talk that through that's my therapy. That's the way that I do it, to get myself in my mind in the right place. And I think that helps out others too when they talk to me about it and say, you're speaking to me right now. So you got to find whatever it is that you can do. John talked about food, prepping, making sure he's got recipes, he's doing the right thing, get back to the basics, working out, eating right. Yeah. You always tell me that working out's one thing, but it's all about what you're putting in your mouth.
So, I mean,
right?
Everyone thinks that they have to be a crazy workout gym person.
Right.
You don't have to be. Yes, it'll benefit you, but when it comes to weight loss,
Right.
So we talk about two different things: weight loss and health, right?
Yeah.
Fitness level and all that stuff. When it comes to weight loss, you will never, ever, 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 ever out-work out your bad food choices.
Right.
You can't do it. I tried my whole entire life.
Yeah.
You know, and it's the work is in the food choices and in the kitchen. That's where the major work is. If you make great choices with your diet and you're exercising as well, the exercise is such a smaller part to
Right.
it. I mean, I love it.
Yeah.
It's something I really enjoy.
That's therapy for you.
But it's so much more with the food choices.
Yep.
It really is.
It all matters there. So yeah.
But the two things that, I mean, they go hand in hand.
Right.
Especially when it comes to a lifelong change. You want to obviously be active and you want to be making great choices in the kitchen. But yeah, you'll never outwork out those bad choices.
Right. So Angela, thanks for that question. Hopefully that answered it for you. I'm not really sure, but comment below if if we did it for you or if we need to elaborate a little bit more. But you got a couple questions, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say, or if I just keep talking. Sometimes
Rambling?
I just ramble and I look at Shane and I get lost in his eyes.
Like, are you gonna edit this? You gonna edit?
I'm like, dude, I'm just lost in those dreamy eyes. And
I don't know about
sometimes
that.
I just lose it and I just stare.
So dreamy.
So okay. All right, so we have Casey Barrett on Instagram. She says, "How has the success of NFLN and your newfound notoriety impacted your personal lives?"
Can we go first?
We're notorious.
So I don't know about all that, but so we talked about it a little bit earlier about No Finish Line Nation growing the way that it has, and that alone in itself, when you have 40,000 people, there's responsibility that comes with that. There's a level of accountability that comes with that.
Yeah.
For me, if I'm an admin or I'm somebody that's out there just talking about stuff to be able to work the program, work whatever you're working, calories, running, whatever it is. If I'm talking about it, I feel like I need to live by what I'm talking about, right? There's an accountability that people are counting on me. If I'm talking about it, I should be doing it, right? So first of all, that's how it impacts my own personal journey. But it takes a lot of work. A lot of the stuff that we're doing with everything, whether it's the video cast, the podcast, whether it's an event we throw in Boston or in Scottsdale, Arizona, there's a lot of work that goes on behind it. But here's the thing. I don't really find it to be work. I find it to be what I'm enjoying and I love to do, right?
Oh.
So my personal life, it's affected by the fact that the time is a lot shorter and I don't have as much time to be able to do all the other things I might want to do, but I love doing it. And so for me, it's a labor of love rather than something that I'm just sitting around trying to go, how do I find what's what? You know what I mean? Because I'm doing what I love to do.
I feel like, I love it. The whole reason this happened was it was organic. So
Yeah.
neither one of us set out and said, hey, on day one or even day 101, it wasn't, we never envisioned any of this.
Nope. My wife's asked me about 3 or 4
We never
times.
envisioned any of this. None of this
seen
was
this?
none of this was a plan. If you asked me, 2.5 years ago when I started living this new lifestyle and making these recipes and doing this thing, I would have never imagined it. This was not the plan.
No.
This happened organically.
It did.
And it happened because people would reach out and say, the emails and the messages of just people reaching out saying how helpful a recipe was or how helpful it was that I shared whatever it was maybe I binged or maybe whatever I was doing. Just sharing my story helped somebody else.
Right.
You helped my son, or you helped my husband, or you helped me, or whatever it is. And these people would reach out and I'm like, we're doing some good here.
It matters. Yep.
We're doing some good stuff. So how do we continue to do it and reach as many people as we possibly can?
Right.
I'm no expert
Nope.
in anything.
I'm not a doctor. I'm no
Even though
expert.
sometimes I look in the mirror, like I said earlier, and I'm like, you're the best.
I'm the best.
You're the greatest. I am not an expert at anything.
Yeah.
But, I learn from people sharing. I learn from other people's experience. And some people find what I have to share and say valuable. So
Right.
I'm trying to reach as many people as I can doing that.
Yep,
And
I
I
agree.
enjoy it. But how does it impact your personal life? That's a question for my wife
Yeah, mine
to
too.
answer, or my kids to answer, because it really does impact
It does.
The personal life. So although I enjoy it, and I don't find it to be work, I love it. It does impact. It does impact. There's a lot of There's a lot of emails, and there's a lot of comments, and there's a lot of questions, and there's just so many moving pieces. And you balance that with, we both have careers.
Yep, full-time jobs.
We both have families, children, wives, dogs. You know, it's just regular life. So it's difficult at times.
Yeah,
it's difficult at times, and I'm always trying to find balance in whatever it is, whether it's my diet or my personal life or work or whatever it is, and finding that balance is key. But some days are definitely difficult.
Yeah,
it is something else though, you know. And I know it's kind of silly, but I'll be somewhere with. I'll tell you this story. I was at. I mean, I could. There's a few of them, but I was at dinner with my wife. I think it was Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
And the waiter came over to the table and said, "I'm sorry, you guys have the wrong menu." And I'm like, "What? What are you talking about?" And he handed us another menu, and on the menu, there's a few of my recipes written down. So someone had recognized us in the restaurant.
What?
I never told you this.
No.
Oh, it was a riot, and I'm like, is this a joke? I'm looking for the cameras. And it was just someone who recognized me, someone who had followed me on social media and stuff.
That's awesome.
Came over and we took some photos and stuff like that. But that, I mean, it's things like that. I mean, you don't realize how many people see what you're doing.
Yep.
So if you're not sharing your journey, share it. It helps, and you never know who you're going to reach.
I had one of those moments very similar to that, but it was when we were in Boston. When we were in Boston and we were at the event, the NFL Inspiration event, we were sitting there around hundreds of people that walked up to me and would make comments like, "Oh, we're there, we're throwing the event, we're doing all kinds of stuff, like we're trying to meet and greet everybody," but for people to come up to you and say, "You've impacted my life this way by the fact of what your podcast or your video that I saw or something that you posted," for you to hear that just reinvigorates me all the time. It does, because I'm like, okay, so what we're doing does matter. Like, you don't know if it does sometimes, right? But it does.
Because we're our own worst critic. And,
That's right.
And we're always second guessing ourselves. So it's like, what am I doing?
Right.
Like, who the hell am I
So true.
to be telling anyone anything? And I'm not. It's all about sharing what my experience is. It doesn't mean it's right. It doesn't mean it's the right way or you know, it's just my experience. And if it helps someone else, that's great. And I still can't wrap my head around this whole thing. But here we are.
Here we are.
And
us and you and you and us. Yeah. That's right.
So
was there another question in there? Or?
Yeah, we got another question from Jimmy Espo on Instagram. What inspires you guys?
Oh man.
That's a loaded question because
it's a lot. It's a lot that goes into that.
I find inspiration in so many different places. Sometimes I'm inspired by someone's story, someone else's journey. Sometimes I'm inspired by my family and the people around me, or I might be listening to a motivational podcast. I'm not going to plug you again. Sorry. Or whatever it is. Sometimes a song might inspire me. You know, sometimes I'm feeling down. I'll tell you, I get inspired. The gym is really my therapy. You know, sometimes, not sometimes, when I'm feeling down and I'm at the gym and I got those headphones in,
nothing matters.
I'm zoned out, and I'll hear something, a song, maybe a lyric in a song. It could be a song I heard 5 million times, but at that moment it inspires me, and I'm like, it just kicks me right into, you know, back into gear. But you know, what inspires you, buddy?
It's too much.
Me?
To be honest with you.
Do I inspire you?
My man right here inspires me.
Are you not inspired?
Listen, are you not entertained?
Are you not inspired?
So, I not to get deep or anything like that, but for me, in the journey that I'm on right now, with where we're at with health-wise in the last couple of years and changing our lives around, you know, family inspires me. Everybody that I talk to on the podcast, NFL community inspires me. All that stuff in general. I mean, every day I wake up inspired by, and you guys can see it when I'm writing about it, going, I can't believe that I'm talking to you people right now, of going, here we are in this journey together. But my biggest inspiration is my wife, I gotta say, because she's been through a lot in her life, right? And so for her to turn her life around, for the ways that she turned her life around, and then also take me along for the ride with the things that we did together, that's my inspiration every day. So for me, shout out to my wife, right? That's pretty deep stuff right there.
You really screwed up today. You did something wrong today, man.
No. I was kind of in the doghouse.
No,
That's right. No,
I know.
But it matters.
No,
and,
I know you're real.
And that's my inspiration because when we do get up together and we're healthy together, we're better, right? Both of us are together doing that. So that's
awesome, man.
That's what drives me and motivates me. So
Yeah.
I'm out of the doghouse.
So speaking of brownie points, right?
Oh yeah, we
The
got
segue.
Wait a minute,
Oh
wait a
my
minute.
God.
I smelled some brownies.
Did you just set that up?
I did.
You set that all up with the brownie points, right?
And my wife's a maker.
You knew I was gonna go there.
I did. Yep.
So speaking of brownie points, Shane,
Yep.
I just whipped it up. Shane came over and I said, "Oh, we got 20 more minutes. I got brownies in the oven." So I just whipped up a great new recipe. I'll post it on social. I'll put the link here.
Guys, you got to smell this house. It
Cream
smells
cheese brownies, baby.
so good. Cream cheese
100
brownies.
So these are big.
Yeah, they're like
These,
this
so
big.
I have a recipe called Big Boy Brownies, and it's based on that recipe. But these are cream cheese brownies.
Yeah.
Woo.
I can't
I haven't
wait.
even had them yet because they were too hot and we had to go to work. But,
Right.
They're out there. They're cooling off, and I'll post about them later. They're 140 calories, I think, for one gigantic brownie. I mean, it's the
Huge.
size of a plate.
Fills the whole plate.
But I'll have all the numbers and stuff like that and share it. But yeah, I mean, I had to.
I'm sitting there. We're on the couch, and I'm like this. I'm going, okay. So we got to go down and do the video cast. And he goes, no, boop, and he walks right up and he starts mixing in the bowl. He's like, I'm a scientist. He's over there going. I'm like, wait a second, what's going on? Am I getting like some personal cooking going on here?
I was
He's like,
inspired, man.
I got some brownies going on. I love it.
We're gonna have to have a snack.
We gotta have
snacks.
We gotta have a snack.
We need snacks. We just can't hang out in the basement and
That's
not
true.
have snacks.
That's true. Very true.
But man, you set me up with the segue.
Love it.
Brownie points. I'm
Beautiful.
Like, it's perfect.
It is perfect, man. It is good.
Yeah. So
Good
what else,
stuff.
buddy? What else we got going on?
I don't know, man. I think
We hit all the topics.
I think we hit all our topics for today. All
we
the
got
questions that were asked.
no wild animals attacking.
No, we've taken care of that. No, nothing bad. We've taken care of the animals. No, they're in the other room with the boys, and they're not barking and screaming at us
No,
and
it's
telling
not-
us, or jumping up on the table right here. That was amazing.
Yeah.
that was so great.
Yeah. So I think we're going to sign off. Please leave some comments, like, subscribe, share. It all helps. We're trying to reach as many people as we can.
Absolutely.
And we'll catch you guys as soon as Shane.
Hits the button.
We'll catch you guys next week.
See you later, guys. Adios.